to another edition of Action 14. I'm Mike Briggs. I'll be bringing you information about the city, the school, and the arts. I'm starting out with the arts here. I have with me Liz Higgins from the Arts Center, and I should welcome you aboard. You are the new educational coordinator.
Yes, thank you.
And not that you haven't been involved in the arts from the beginning. Is that correct?
That's correct. I saw a little article in the paper right when I moved back to Plymouth. I'm originally from Plymouth, and I saw this little article saying, anyone interested in community art, come join us. And before it was even the brick and mortar arts center, I was involved in, I would say, a beginning volunteer at that time.
Well, I remember you from high school, believe it or not. I came here in 1977, and I believe you were a Jerry Lehman's daughter.
Correct.
Jerry was a science teacher here when I came in 77, and I met your mother a few times. She was a teacher at our elementary schools, am I correct?
Kindergarten teacher, correct, yeah. So I've got a little bit of influence from them. My dad taught photography, so that kind of got me involved in the arts as well. I was always involved with the arts in high school. Took art and loved art and decided to pursue that as a career. So I started out in getting a bachelor's degree in fine art, and that was at Lakeland College. And life happens, and I guess I needed a little bit more than that. I had to, as a single mom, I had to support 3 kids. So I decided to go back to school to get my teaching license, which took 2.5 years to do that. Quite the challenge with little kids, but from there on, it's just something I had a passion with as teaching, and now I'm semi-retired. I taught at the Sheboygan Area School District for 7 years. I taught art, started out high school teaching art, and then went to the last 4 years elementary art. So I guess I would say I'm semi-retired, and wanting to do something to enhance the community, provide art education in the community. And when I saw the ad in the paper for art coordinator, and of course I know Donna, who's a director at the Plymouth Arts Center, it just seemed like a natural fit.
And it has been a good fit for you, hasn't it?
Yes, it has.
And you have many goals, I know, but part of it is to attract other teachers.
Correct. So my goals are to find other qualified art teachers, which, you know, you don't really have to have a degree in art. If you have a passion for art and the skills, that's someone we're looking for. And other things are community involvement, so getting people to understand that they're, you know, a lot of times people don't even know we have such a great Plymouth Arts Center. So to make sure that it's out in the community, that they know that there's classes there and other things there that are going on. So it's really promoting that as well. And
we are so lucky to have a city our size with an arts center that does so many things. I mean, it's all of the arts are become active at the Plymouth Arts Center, and it has changed its face several times since it was the car lot. And it is just beautiful, isn't it? Yeah, there was quite the renovation to get it to where it's been at now, and they put that new addition on the back, and it's just been wonderful. And not only is there the fine arts there and theater, is you can also have weddings there and all kinds of things. So it's, it really helps out the community. Let's talk about some of the classes that you are starting to start up. I mean, you've only been here a very short time. You've been with the arts, although you've been with the Arts Center from the beginning. But as a education coordinator, you have just begun that, but you already are starting to pop some classes, aren't you? Correct.
So not only adult classes, but we really want to build up the children's side of it, the younger kids. So this summer we brought back Mary Starnicki, who teaches art camp. So she had 4 sessions at art camp. We had drawing, painting. Unfortunately, we didn't get enough for the sculpture ones, so that didn't go through. And now we have, next week is a mixed media, and we have it for 1st through 4th grade and 5th through 8th grade, so we're trying to attract not only the really young ones, but the middle-aged students as well.
Yeah, and then you also have one coming up August 4th, mask making. Tell me how, first of all, tell me how you got this idea to make masks.
So this is a good, going into our jazz crawl, which is coming up on August.
On the 12th.
August 12th, yes. So it's kind of a Mardi Gras theme, so I'll be hosting a workshop, and you just take it's like a blank canvas. So it's a blank mask, white mask, and we're going to decorate it with paint and any kind of fabric or feathers or whatever you'd like to make more of a Mardi Gras type mask. And you can either keep it for yourself, or we also have a silent auction going on at the Jazz Crawl.
Right.
And that really generates a lot of extra for the Plymouth Arts Center, so it's something we promote as well. So if you'd like to donate it, and then we could put that towards the proceeds.
Certainly. As long as we're talking about the Jazz Crawl, let's bring that up briefly.
Oh, sure.
I spoke about it with Donna at great length last month. It is just around the corner, August 12th. It starts at 4:30 down at the Arts Center. If I were to, again, tell you the plan that you should have is to go down at 4:30. There'll be a band inside, a band outside, and food available.
Correct.
So the idea is to have supper down at the Arts Center and listen to the 2 bands that start up at 4:30, and then another 2 bands will happen right afterwards. Also inside and outside at the Arts Center.
Correct.
And then there are bands throughout the
11
city.
bands, yes.
Throughout
11
the city
bands,
of Plymouth.
correct.
And there'll be a trolley. First of all, let's talk about, make sure you get an armband.
Wristband.
Think about a wristband for $10 that allows you to travel on the trolley to all the different locations.
It's a lot of fun.
Oh, it's a great time, and we have, for the very first time, the Dave Steffen Band will be at Plymouth
I know,
Tap.
I'm excited, yes.
And that's the first time the Dave Steffen Band has been involved in the Jazz Crawl.
Yes.
And so I do expect a huge crowd
I think
there.
so. I think so.
But of course, don't let anything get away from you, because PGA Campbell's is going to have something. Generally, they have had it outside if possible, at the depot, and I can name all the different places. My plan would be for you to stop down at the Arts Center, get a brochure for it, and pick out the ones you really want to see.
Right.
Because it'll be going till midnight, not at the Arts Center necessarily, but at the
All
other
downtown.
8 venues all around town.
Yes.
It's going to be a great evening. That's August 12th, starts at 4:30 at the Arts Center, and then travel around, visiting all the different locations where the bands will be happening. It's going to be a
It'll
great
be
evening.
great. I'm looking forward to it. So,
And as you were saying, there will be some items to bid on at the Arts Center. I always get a phone call the next day to go and pick up a couple items.
Yes.
My wife and I will put a bid on a few items, lots of cheese to
Exactly,
purchase.
yes, our promoters
Yeah.
like to donate a lot of that type of thing.
Yeah, and of course, there's an art show going on right now.
Yes,
even.
it's called Where the Wild, or Walk Through the Wild. So it'll be a soft opening that night, and then the following night, Friday, will be our main gallery opening, but it'll still be like a soft opening
Yeah,
that
so
night,
you will see a new set of art.
And the little I saw of it, it looked really great with, I bet, a lot of artists that have been in our shows before, so they're contributing, and it looks like maybe a lot of animals possibly in it, so that's why the wild side, where that comes from.
That'll be open on the 12th, so you'll be able to wander through there. And like I said, there's so much entertainment on the Jazz Crawl on August 12th that you'll hop to 2 or 3. It's very difficult to hit all of them, but you've got to try.
Yes.
But now, we also have some other things going on coming up a little later, don't we?
Some other things that we have going on is Lori Beringer does a open studio.
Yep.
And she instructs it and gives tips for you. You can come in, bring in your own paints. We provide the easels, and that's been an ongoing thing. And that'll be October, November, December,
yes.
2 times a month. So if you'd be interested in that, we do like pre-registration. So you can always go to the PlymouthArts.org to see all of our classes that are coming up, or if you're interested in that open studio, that would be a great place.
It's PlymouthArts.org, but my advice is stop down. Stop down, see what's happening, the latest things happening in the studio, and the gift shop. Because you have always changing. The gift shop is always changing, and it's all, many times, many local artists have some items there that you'll just want to take home.
And that's the thing that really brought me into the Arts Center. It is its local artists. So, you know, and we have Wisconsin artists in general, but a lot of local artists that are involved. Yes.
And we're running out of time on Mill Street Live. We've only got a few shows to go.
Yep, 2 more.
2 more to go, and I think the last one is August 5th.
Correct.
7 p.m. Great show. It's the singing, dancing, music that changes every night. All good.
Yes.
As you look forward to many things happening at the Art Center, you have to be excited about finally being able, after being involved in it like you have been, now you actually have a purpose on it.
Yes. So, yes, I'm very excited. And especially after COVID as well. I mean, we couldn't have in classroom type anything. So yes, that's very nice to be able to bring everyone in and have classes. In this fall, we'll be having some felting classes, kids classes on Saturday mornings. And this spring, I'm looking a little forward out, we're having a student art show that I'll be having, and not quite know all the details yet, but for the local schools to bring the artwork into the Art Center, which is something too that is done once in a while, but to bring that back again.
That would be nice to bring back because we have some fantastic art teachers and students in the Plymouth School District, and another location for them to show their art is beneficial.
And I'd love to collaborate with all the local art teachers as well.
And we will make sure that happens. Just keep in touch with me.
Yes.
All right, well, I want to thank you, Liz, for being on. Say hi to Donna for me, and tell her that we're going to keep the arts happening in Plymouth.
That's great.
Thank you.
Thank you for having me.
When we come back, I'm going to put the mayor in the hot seat. He's got some tough questions he's got to answer during these hot questions during these hot days. So stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Welcome back. As promised, I've got the mayor in the hot seat on this marvelous hot afternoon. Welcome to the show.
Thank you, Mike. It's always a pleasure to be here on TV 14 with our viewers and see what is the latest and best thing going on in the community.
Yeah. Well, how are things going on in the city? How's everything going?
Well, let's see. How do I put this in one word? Wow.
Frustrating.
There's always a lot of exciting thing with the crowds that are gathering and the people that come down, and the merchants are giving the thumbs up and kudos, and that's always
we had to have a record for Mill Street. Mill Street days.
It was tremendous.
Was unbelievable crowd. Unbelievable.
It was steady, and that was the part that was really good. And you know, that's a big plus for the city because the word spreads of all the different variety that comes to that. So it's really exciting, and of course we always stress safety first at that, and our city crews put out the barricades, and we have to allow access to certain things, but it works out very, very well downtown. And of course, toward the end of it, the cleanup starts very quickly.
Yes.
By 2 hours, 6 o'clock, there was hardly anything around.
You have really the fantastic crew that comes down before it starts at Mill Street, and then right at 4 o'clock, they come down and start moving the barrels, and you see the street sweeper come through
Yep.
about 5:30. And I was down there helping set up and tear down, so I understand exactly.
Yeah, and I do spot checking. It's not my job, but I'm always curious that, we've got people in place and everything working out well, and they do a very good
Yes.
job, and we didn't have any incidents, so that's always a good thing
But
too.
we've got a few issues though, because we had a fantastic winter of no snow, but it saved you a little money, but the price of gas has got to be hurting you.
It's really put a crimp in our sail, and the city is no different than you and I when we fill up the gas tank. They just have a few more vehicles than you and I
Yeah.
have. So we're starting the budget review process. And of course, the first thing I looked at was the fuel progression. And if it stays at the current level by Labor Day, it's possible that we'll use up our entire fuel budget for the entire year, which really puts us in a real tough place, because obviously we still have to provide services to the community. The price of fuel affects everything. The surcharges that we're incurring on the simplest deliveries now
Right.
have surcharges on them. So it just isn't the fuel that's hitting us. We get additional billing on every single package that comes in, and it's really taking its toll on the budget. The last thing we want to do is cut services.
Right.
And yeah, we had a little left over from last winter, but that's been eaten up already. And of course, now we're saying we'll make it to Labor Day, but then the big problem is we're not going to have back-to-back nice winters. We can't count on that.
Right.
So it's going to be a real problem. We've done some different things in the last couple of years with Matt to try and do less of one thing and more of something else. And it's all in timing, and sometimes maybe it's luck too, but it takes a lot to manage that. And our crews have actually shifted some of the duties around so that they're not using the biggest equipment right away.
Okay.
And that helps out too. It's a real chess game.
And I can tell you that having been through Madison, the price is under $4 a gallon in Madison, so we can only hope some good news is coming, that the price of fuel will drop in our area also. It won't be back to where it was 2 years
no.
ago, but it may be another $1 off coming.
We're hoping for a little decrease. We don't get a real break at the city level on volume or anything like that, because we have a contract for our fuel depot. But the biggest problem is simply it's staying up there at $4.29.
Yeah.
And chances are we won't see that price drop until after Labor Day, because this is a busy travel season, and
Certainly.
it's out there. It's going to be very hard, and we're aware of it, so we're being very careful. But
Yep.
we'll have to just make do and find something somewhere to
Yeah.
balance it out.
Yeah, it's put some pressure on the new administrator coming in. He starts up in August 1st, am I correct? Or we're about the
Yep.
first week of August? And
Yep.
he's going to be traveling in from Port Washington to help lead the city of Plymouth.
That's correct, and we're looking forward to Tim's leadership. He has been an assistant administrator, so he certainly has some of the background that is there. He's met with our management staff a couple times. They're excited about some of his approaches to things, and he seems to want to attack the problem. And work with the entire team to solve that. So we're very hopeful. Obviously, getting up to speed is always a difficult job for anybody, but we're looking for a leadership that'll help us come up with some new ideas and possibly new ways of doing things.
Yep. Well, let's talk about someone that hasn't been hired yet, a new police chief. You have no control, you should tell everybody, you have no control over who it is and when they're hired.
That's absolutely correct. State statute defines the role of police chief and the city officials, and they keep them separate to keep politics out of it and everything else. So the Fire and Police Commission has the sole authority. I like to say I sign their paycheck, and that's about it, because that's about all the power I have over that. So, but they're working very hard. They have it down to 2 candidates.
Okay.
And they're very excited about both candidates, so we'll see how quickly. I was told they're both in-state candidates, so that's a good thing. I think sometimes coming from Wisconsin, you have some of the flavor that exists in small towns. So we're hopeful for that. It's always a challenge to have a new chief come in that is from a different area and different experiences, and then how he blends with the current staff and gets that all flowing in one convenient way. But the Fire and Police Commission acts independently, and we give them the parameters in the budget, which in this case is left over from last year. The Fire and Police Commission don't prepare the budget. The police department does, the fire department does, but they have that working budget process to stay within some of the guidelines. And then, of course, with price raises of employment out there, there's always some contingencies that we have to deal with. But I think we'll have a good selection and welcome that. It would be nice, and I'm hopeful.
By the fair.
By the fair,
Yeah.
because on fair weekend, nobody gets a day off. And we need all the help that we can get. So that would be a good place to introduce the chief and also break him in, so to speak, because.
Or break him.
Yeah, if that doesn't do you in, nothing will. So,
Yeah.
But yeah, we're very helpful, and I think that either way, they'll come up with a selection.
Okay.
It's a different process than what we necessarily go through as administrator, and so we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. You also have some other hirings, though, happening. It's not just that. You actually have some openings to fill.
Well, we do, and I appreciate the chance to talk about those openings. We went for the entire history of the city without a arborist, and we were fortunate to have an arborist apply a couple years ago that really brought out some different aspects of what we could do with conveniently, our tree problem with emerald ash borer. And Jessica did a fantastic job. So good of a job that she was offered another position in the private industry, and we can't blame people for taking opportunities that come along. So, but it did give us that shot in the arm that says, you know, an arborist is a good idea for us. And obviously they do other things than being an arborist, but it really, downtown, we've had a lot of compliments downtown with the tree layout, and then some of our city streets where we took trees down, some of what we put up, and then the Roots program with Rotary Club in all the parks, and she had a big hand in that. She helped us with the kids planting trees at the schools, so it was really a good effort. And that momentum we want to continue. So we're looking forward to a replacement coming in, city benefits, full-time, the whole bit. And I think that we're looking for applicants to come in on that. It's posted on the city website, and we invite people to check that out. Sometimes there's other jobs that come along as well on there, so it's always a good place to look. And I think the city is a good employer in the community, always has been. So we're looking for that to be filled with another quality person.
Hopefully, give it a look. See, we have someone out there that's thinking about changing and a new challenge. Let's have it.
Well, and we have pension benefits and health benefits that are top of the line. So it's an attractive position, yeah.
Well, let's wrap things up by talking about the highway. I was on Highway 23. There's still a lot of barrels up, but it's looking like we're going to get to Fond du Lac pretty soon.
I was on the 23 this past weekend myself, and I noticed in a couple spots where they were lane shifting and putting a little more of the packing along the roadway in and getting that groomed and then shifting back the other way. So we are on some of the new construction now that's coming along. They're still on track, I'm told, for September 1st. So that would be nice because Labor Day is a huge travel weekend, and that would certainly be very beneficial for that. So hopefully the state will meet their mark. The work that they're doing in Fond du Lac, which is quite amazing, and I've seen some of the different photo reports that they do with a drone, and it's incredible. We don't have that big hill anymore to climb, so that's a nice thing. And the traffic pattern, I think I was always concerned what that's going to look like because it's all guesswork, and our state engineers, they get out those French curves and those highs and those lows. It's really, I have to say, it's looking good. So I'm anxious to get on it once it's finished and see how that goes. But it's definitely going to be an improvement for the transportation to and from. And we're looking at doing a traffic count this summer, so we have a before completion, and then we'll do a traffic count after completion so that we can take that and apply it toward our advertising and business that we're trying to attract. So
yeah, we've got a couple new openings happening in Plymouth that made the paper, and we're hoping that'll get a couple more.
Well, and I can tell you we do have some inquiries from some franchise outfits that require traffic count.
Okay.
And so it would be nice to get some of those national chains in the city. That's why we're doing the traffic count principally. Okay. We would do it anyway. This is a little more incentive to do it right away instead of wait a little bit. And setting that up and coordinating that is always a chore anyway. But if we can produce the numbers that they require, it will give us a shot in the arm. And we're hoping that with some efforts that we're making, our revolving loan fund, we're rewriting that. So we'll have incentives that we can offer through low interest loans. And we're hoping to finalize some of those potential customers in the summer of '23.
Okay.
So we're hoping for additional construction, and that would be good.
Yes. We still have too many empty buildings that we would love to fill and be part of the Plymouth community.
Yeah, we're doing very well. The Lock building downtown is going to be taking additional work on and completion. That's a big project in itself. So you know, it's taken a little time. But yeah, we're looking for having some more architecture work done. The design committee, I think we're having a meeting in August on that. So we're really looking to bring a lot of the pieces of the puzzle together here this fall and early next year. So that should give us the incentive we're looking for the community.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we've got
We'll stay tuned on that one.
yeah, we'll hopefully have people asking enough questions and we can give enough answers to
That's right.
let us know some good things happening.
I would cross my fingers and say I think we're going to be talking about those things.
Good,
Yeah.
fantastic.
Good, thank you.
I should mention that the city council meetings are the second and last Tuesday of the month. It's down at City Hall. They start at 7
o'clock.
7 p.m. down at City Hall. Be part of what's happening, be involved with the city, and find out what's happening for everybody here.
Absolutely.
Yes,
Thank you.
thank you.
Appreciate it.
When we come back, I'm going to have the superintendent on. We'll talk about what's happening. We're already warming things up for the new school year. Stay right with us. You're watching Action 14. Welcome back to Action 14. I have with me Superintendent Dan Mello. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me again, Mike.
We're just on the verge of school starting. It feels like we're moving forward so quickly now. Trying to get things complete. We just wrapped up we're just wrapping up summer school.
Right now, yep.
And we're already talking about the first day of school.
Yeah, it's actually going to be, it's been a process of wrapping up and planning for a solid month. And now really this month, coming up into August, we get into, there's a lot more teachers back working on things. They're getting in their rooms, they're setting things up. Our custodial maintenance staff is going great guns all around the district with their efforts to clean. And I was in here on Sunday this past week, Saturday this past week, early in the morning, and I walked through the hallways of the high school, and here's Bob Miller, famous custodian, Bob Miller, in there. He's waxing the floors in the band room on Saturday. So people really have the pedal to the metal and getting ready for the school year. So it's fast approaching. It seems like we just finished, and then now already we're starting again. I mean, the fair is going to be here in about a week, right?
We've had such a marvelous summer school. It was a very successful summer school. I need to congratulate you on that, and everybody who runs summer school, congratulations. It was it was done mostly at the middle school this year, which was a concern for some of our technology issues, but we seem to have gotten through it okay.
Yeah, it was kind of the impetus from our custodial maintenance staff and some of the teachers and principals as well, that we ought to rotate where we hold summer school, because otherwise certain buildings like the high school never get as thorough a cleaning as the other places that don't have to host summer school. So that was why we gave it a try, and the team of administrators and secretaries that got it going this year started the student registration earlier, the hiring earlier, orientation for the people that teach summer school happened earlier and in a better, consistent fashion. And so I think it's been a good experience for the students and also the employees, because they're not all Plymouth School District in regular year employees. There are people from other districts that are working here in summer, and so sometimes we kind of hope that they see that, this is a great place to work, and maybe it can kind of be a recruiting tool for us as well. So, yeah, it was a good summer school. A couple of new classes and a big new group coming in from the incoming 8th graders and some of the different levels of kids at the high school currently doing a training program. Boys, girls, all kinds of kids doing the same stuff and having things like Toughness Tuesdays and Weightlifting Wednesdays, and it's been good to see. They're really a good group, a large group of kids in there working hard together.
Good. Now, I know we've had some other facility things going on. We've had some huge pieces of equipment up here and around the district. We have a lot of things that had to be done.
Right, and every year we try to check off a few of those big maintenance items that are can only really be done in summer. And so this year, for example, with summer school being moved over to Riverview, it was the right year to do the air intake and output in the pool. That hadn't been updated since 1967.
Yes, 67, when we first opened the doors.
Right, and so there was, it's a chlorine environment, and that's a corrosive environment, and so people were holding together that fan system with bubble gum and duct tape, like MacGyver, I think.
Yeah.
And so now we've got a new piece of equipment that's in there, and it waiting on a couple little parts here and there, but all in all, that turned out to be a good project. Plus, by digging into and having to do the HVAC system in the pool area, we had to drain the pool, and so it gave everybody an opportunity to acid wash the tile and make sure tuck pointing of the tile to prevent leakage and all of that. That hadn't been done in a number of years, and so that got done too. So that's a really nice, that was a plus. And then, we've had other big things going on. We have a consistent sustainability approach that we're using in the district, and some things are small, like the fluorescent lighting, for example. We've been changing to LED bulbs over the course of the last 6-7 years. And so in summertime, that's a good chance to get into classrooms, put in all new bulbs, and all of a sudden you go from 50% of incandescent light energy usage down to like 10%.
Right.
And everything that we do with regard to sustainability, some things are large, like the HVAC system is going to save us a ton of energy because it's just an efficient, modern unit, computerized controls and everything. But some of them are small, like our lighting. And if we can change over the lights in an entire building, that can save upwards of 10% of your energy costs in a given year for electricity, for example. So the sustainability is always a big push for us in the district. And that kind of brings up to me, a newer sustainability approach to the district is we've gone mostly away from pesticides and herbicides and chemical fertilizers on our grounds. And so people like Ryan Rush, who is our Buildings and Grounds coordinator, is looking at all kinds of ways to still have nice looking grounds, but maybe more sustainable without toxins and things being pumped into the ground. So one example of that is last week he had a person come in that brought in a way to use nitrogen in an area, but like gaseous nitrogen that then opens up the soil and loosens the soil, which then allows the grass roots and clover rhizomes to grow. But yet when the soil is aerated in that way, the weeds don't grow because weeds want a compacted hard surface. And so over time, if you use this product, which is a total natural product, in fact, when they spray this product, they put little ladybugs instead of those stickers that people have in their yards that say chemicals stay off. This one says ladybugs, come on and play. So anyway, so that's an example of us trying to become more sustainable over time.
Good.
Eventually, the goal with that is to have such a natural surface ground cover of grasses and clovers that you really don't even need fertilizer, you need less and less mowing because it doesn't grow that tall, but it still stays green. So those are all some of the things we're doing. Of course, if you've driven past from Highland Avenue, you've seen the construction at Finke Field, and
Oh, yes.
that is ongoing, and it's ahead of schedule, and so that's good. And then there's also a boiler at the high school that's been replaced in the course of the summer, along with a couple of other little HVAC things and heating and cooling units throughout the district. So, yeah, the facilities during summer are active.
Oh, we're very big. There's a lot of trucks pull in during the summer. Yeah. When,
And let's not forget that the view boards
oh, yeah.
in the district are being. This is the year that we are replacing all the view boards. The tech department is doing that.
Yeah, 126 of them.
That is a huge undertaking. Most of those were mounted on walls, so
That's
there's the
right.
whole thing about coming off the walls, and then there's assembling the view boards. And for people that don't know, they're large interactive screens that have kind of over time taken the place of things like the old classic chalkboard.
Yeah, yeah.
So a huge undertaking.
It is. Yeah, but we can see the end. I mean, we
Yeah.
can see that we're gaining.
Yeah, well, I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
You're staying ahead of the wave, and
Yeah,
you're on
that's
your
right.
surfboard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But now I should tell everybody that there's a survey out there that they will be seeing.
Yes. It came out about a month ago first. It went out to parents initially. Then the community asked for some input as well. And so we expanded that through our social media, and now it's the newspaper. It's on our website. It's a community, it's a school topic survey. And the point of it is that we're asking for input about things that maybe at a board level or just through our communication on a regular level, the types of things that folks in the community, parents and general community members would like to know about or learn about in the school district. Maybe things like our sustainability program and how we're doing that, or whatever it might be. That we're asking, it's an open-ended survey, it's only 2 questions, so if there's something related to school or education or our school district, grounds, or whatever it might be, you can put in whatever topics you'd like to see discussed or like to have some information on. And then what the board is going to do with that is they're going to take that information and they're going to have a meeting just focused on that information, and we'll kind of organize it for everybody, and we'll put the topics into themed categories.
Right.
And then we'll talk about that as a board and look at, is this something that is where we can provide education for people? Is this something that maybe the community would like to have input on and it's debatable and things like that? Or it could be something that is mandated by law, and this is the reason we do it, and so it's mandated by law. So there's all kinds of different things, but right now we're just in the collection phase, and we just extended the deadline out another couple of weeks. So if people want to take that survey out there, you certainly can take the survey.
Yep. Now, everybody should know that the school budget is July 1 to June 30th. So Plymouth has just started a new budget year, and now you're already planning another budget. I mean, the preliminary budget, and there's always numbers to crunch.
Right. It's kind of an odd time, and it is every year in July. The actual budget is approved by the community in October. Even though schools have bills and people to pay and all of that starting on July 1st,
Right.
there isn't an accepted new budget really in any school district until somewhere in October. And so during this time, every school district needs to approve, the school boards need to approve a preliminary budget. The issue with preliminary budgets is that they're very preliminary.
Yeah.
For example, we don't know what our funding amount is going to be for next year. So we have to guess, and we have to guess conservatively using things like last year's numbers and just on our regular budget. Then there are things like special education aid or disability aid and you never know what those numbers are going to come in at. And if you have, like we did this past year, a very large increase in special education students, especially those with some very significant needs, we kind of use last year's numbers, even though we're assuming and we're hopeful, because it's always been this way in the past, that the new year's numbers will cover more of those expenses for those kids. So it does project for us a larger deficit than normal, kind of a similar deficit to the previous year. But for example, last year, we projected around a $1.2 million deficit at this time. By the time we certified the budget in October, the community did, we had enough information that we had no deficit, using $700,000 of our federal ESSER funds. This year, we're hopeful that with our $1.6 million proposed deficit, that by the time the October rolls around, it's something that we're more used to working with, which is normally we start the year with something like a $400,000, $500,000 deficit. And over time, through good fiscal management and personnel payments and things, we end up coming back with a balanced budget or a little bit better by the end of the school year. So, but we have to certify this budget with little and limited information right now, so that we can pay people and pay our bills for the next couple of months.
It is an odd way to run things, but we've been doing it so many years that we are used to it.
Right, and everybody in the state is in the same boat as us, always, every year. And it's certainly not the way businesses work, but then again, we don't have to sell things to get the money. We use ongoing number of students that we have, and we're reimbursed kind of after the fact. So that's the way it is.
Now, we're going to wrap things up by talking about school is just around the corner, but football practice starts August 2nd.
Right.
Isn't that something? August 2nd will be the beginning of the new school year of football. There will be 3 games before school starts.
Right.
And so August 2nd is when football begins. So I'm telling everyone to stop at the office now. Come up to the office now with your parent and fill out the paperwork. Start filling out the paperwork. There's probably 3 signatures for a parent to sign off on to get all of it taken care of, get the doctor's report in. All of those things have to be done before you are allowed to practice. And now is the time to get it done.
Right, and football's the first, but then it's followed shortly by, I believe soccer is the next one, and then there's tennis, and then there's golf, girls' tennis. I mean, so many students are here on a daily basis, and teachers and coaches. By the time the second week of August is started, it's almost half the school is back here. The parking lot's full. Because everybody's here. But you're exactly right. This is the time of year, if you haven't gotten your physical and you've been planning to play, you're gonna have to try to work your way into maybe finding a nurse practitioner or somebody that might have some openings. Because I know that it's very difficult currently to get in and get physicals. There's also a shortage of doctors.
Athletic physical is needed, or an alternate year. You just need signatures.
Right.
And then you need a eligibility form filled out with a parent and guardian signature. You need an honor code filled out with a signature, a concussion signed with a parent's signature. All the rules today to be able to play athletics. And so stop up to the high school as soon as you can to get this taken care of. Because like I said, football practice is the 2nd of August. Girls golf is the 8th of August. And it just keeps going on and on down the list. The 9th is girls tennis. And so the first 3 weeks, you start out the 2nd of August, and then every week there's another sport or 2 coming on board.
Right. And so all the facilities get used, and all that hard work that the kids put in since whether it was last winter or maybe they were a 3-sport person and now they're just had a summer of some activities. Now they're working, now all that work hopefully comes and pays off for them.
Yep, and so do not put anything off. Get started now to make sure that you have all the paperwork in so you can be there on the first day of practice or first day of tryouts to make sure that it all works for you, because we want to have a fantastic school year, starting with great athletics in the fall.
It is true that when you have a good kickoff, you know, with your extracurriculars, the entire year is better.
Yep.
It just really is. If you get fans in the stands, kids at events, it kind of brings the whole school together, and it's a wonderful thing. So.
Yeah, so be part of what's happening in the Plymouth School District and be part of the athletic program, because of course, we're talking to two people here who were in athletics year-round when we were in high school, and it was the best thing that ever happened to us.
Oh, absolutely. Think of yourself as a freshman coming in, and many parents out there, you've had the same experience. You don't know who everybody is. You had your little class from where you were, and maybe you don't know everybody. One of the best ways to get to know people and maybe meet some teachers too, and start some relationships that way is through activities and sports and band and
Course, et cetera.
We got we're starting the fall play kicks off pretty early. There's lots of things you can get involved with, and you kind of build those connections and build a community.
Be part of what's happening, and you will enjoy your experience in high school or in the school district so much more.
Exactly.
Well, I want to thank you for being on.
Well, thanks for having me again.
And I want to thank everyone for watching and being part of Action 14. I want to remind everybody that the school board meetings are the third Tuesday of every month, starting at 5:30 in the high school amphitheater. Be part of what's happening in the school district. Understand what we are doing and how we're going forward. Until I see you again, I'll be seeing you on the radio. Bye-bye.